Right now at 6, an East Bay teacher killed in the crossfire at an Oakland club.
She was young and gonna get married and in the prime of her life and her career. And she just got struck down so fast.
How members of her school community are remembering her. And what we're learning about a young father also gunned down in the mass shooting. Plus, Dublin teachers walk off the job in the Bay Area's latest school strike.
We need counselors. We need bumps.
The major sticking points that go beyond just pay. And a fire rips through a Monterey apartment building, sending several people to the hospital.
The flames were just shooting way up. It was bad.
How a woman saved her elderly neighbor from the flames. And later, an East Bay chiropractor seeing more business from people buried in their phones.
It's going to come down and it's just going to be tight pulling sensation.
His tips to prevent and manage what is being called text neck.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. Tonight, 2 families torn apart by a weekend shootout inside an Oakland club. A total of 7 people were shot after a fight broke out inside the club early Saturday morning. And we are learning more about the 2 people killed, one of whom was a teacher at a San Pablo charter school. Kenny Choi spoke with a family who was shaken by her loss.
Family and friends continue to mourn the loss of Letitia Bobo, a beloved teacher who was shot and killed here in Oakland over the weekend. One student of hers I spoke to today says it's unfair she was taken away so soon.
People are locked in a room, and in order to get out, they have to figure out how they're connected. I've been saying that for and I know you.
She was a teacher who had dreams of making films.
My name is Letitia, and I am the writer, director, producer of Consequences.
A student of Letitia Bobo says the 33-year-old was passionate, with a bubbly personality, and so loving.
She was really kind, and she really liked hanging out with our students, and she felt like she was a really good teacher.
Her student, too heartbroken to be in front of a camera, trying to come to grips with the reality of her 8th grade English teacher killed so violently. The student's mother, Robin DeGracia, worked closely with Bobo on school fundraisers and had just talked to her a day before the fatal shooting.
She didn't have a violent bone in her body. She had a lot of strict bones, but not a violent one.
Oakland police say 2 people had an argument inside Easy's Lounge, a downtown club, on Saturday at around 3:30 in the morning when a gun battle broke out. It's believed the 7 people shot were innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire. Authorities identified a 25-year-old man who also died. Caliber Beta Academy in San Pablo canceled classes and will have counselors to help grieving students when they return Tuesday. For now, DeGracia can only try and console her daughter, but can't explain how a young life was robbed and taken away so senselessly.
She was young and gonna get married and in the prime of her life and her career. And she just got struck down so fast.
Oakland police say the investigation is ongoing. No suspects have yet been arrested in this case.
Bobo's family released a statement praising her impact on her community. They said in part, quote, her compassion, her energy, and her standard of excellence will have and will continue to be a conduit of positivity for those who are blessed to know her. They also said they are heartbroken and asked for privacy as they grieve. We also learned the name of the other person killed in that shooting. Oakland police identified 25-year-old Marquise Martin today. An online fundraiser for Martin's funeral expenses called him a loving son, a protective brother, and a devoted father to his 1-year-old daughter. San Francisco DA Brooke Jenkins announcing today 2 men have actually been charged in a confrontation with San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie's bodyguard in the Tenderloin last week. Tony Phillips faces multiple charges, including assault of a police officer, resisting an executive officer, and violation of a stay-away order for that location. The other person arrested, Abraham Simon, has been charged with resisting or obstructing a police officer. Authorities say Phillips is the man in this video released by Mission Local, seen struggling with Lurie's bodyguard a San Francisco police officer. Lori walks away to call over another member of his security for help. The man then tackles the officer, as you can see, to the ground. Jenkins also addressed a different video of an earlier part of the confrontation that shows the officer pushing the man backward and knocking him down.
More will come out in court, but there was certainly a verbal exchange in addition to physical conduct that is seen on the video that, of course, precipitates different actions.
An arraignment for both suspects is scheduled for tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Mayor Lori thanked Jenkins for the charging decision, saying he hopes the individuals will be held accountable. 2 people have been arrested in the killing of a young mother in Sunnyvale. She was found shot to death in her car earlier this year, and police say one of the suspects shares a son with the victim. Grzan Chirinos and Alfonso Inestra were both arrested last Thursday in different counties. Chirinos, the father of the victim's son, was arrested by Sunnyvale detectives, while Inestrosa was arrested in Hollister by a SWAT team. Police say he was wanted in an unrelated murder case in New Jersey. Now, the victim was 24-year-old Kimberly Chirinos Flores, and she was found dead in her car on January 7th at the Plaza del Rey Mobile Home Park. The shotgun has been recovered in the case, and police also confirmed she did not live in the mobile park and was from Mountain View.
I can only imagine the profound pain and grief Kimberly's family is experiencing during this difficult time. Kimberly was in the prime of her life. She was working 2 jobs to make ends meet, and she was a loving mother of a 5-year-old son.
Her son was unharmed and is with Child Protective Services. Dublin teachers, they walked off the job today amid a labor dispute with the school district. Our chopper flew over it at Kolb Park today, and you can see quite a few teachers. They were out and about, and they were holding signs as well. This happens to be the latest strike to hit a Bay Area school district struggling with budget challenges. Brad Hamilton heard from both sides about what's holding up these negotiations.
Ashley Foltz says that she'd much rather be leading her Dublin elementary classroom today. Instead, she's helping lead a picket line just off her school's grounds.
You know, it's not a negative. It's not something that I think that we, hold and let us weigh down, but it is something that tires us out.
Ashley and the rest of the teachers union at the Dublin Unified School District are on day 1 of a strike. The 2 sides have been negotiating on a new contract since September. They remain at odds over a teacher's demand for a 3.5% wage increase, better health coverage, full-time counselors at every elementary school, and smaller class sizes. Ashley says the latter point is their main sticking point.
It's not because I don't want to, it's because I don't have the bandwidth. So with smaller class sizes, we're able to reach every single student.
The school district has kept campuses open, with many schools having reduced hours. As for where negotiations stand, Chris Funk, Dublin Unified Superintendent, says the district's current offer, that includes a 2.1% raise, would already force them to make $7 million worth of cuts for the next school year. He says the district is in a budget deficit and doesn't see how they can offer much more on their end.
We have our offer out on the table. That offer is the same exact recommendation from the state neutral. And so when DTA is ready to begin that conversation, we'll come right back to the table.
But teachers like Ashley believe it's on the district to respond with a better offer.
I think when we feel the support of the district management behind us, we stand that much taller. So I think it's really important that the union and management come to the table, they bargain, and I know our union is ready.
We need counselors, we need books, we need money, the district took.
For now, Dublin teachers join a wave of educators in the Bay Area and California to walk off the job in recent months. This time, the signs are green, but the strike reflecting the same tensions, facing cash-strapped school districts across the state.
Schools are expected to be open again tomorrow, many on modified half-day schedules. Meantime, San Francisco Unified wants to add 5 school days to make up for the days lost in last month's teacher strike. If approved, the semester would end on June 10th, a full week later than scheduled. District leaders say graduation dates and high school finals would stay the same. They're also working to sort out how the longer school year affects summer programs. The school board will review the proposal on March 24th. President Trump says the war with Iran could be over soon after U.S. and Israeli strikes destroyed every single force. He told CBS News the war is very far ahead of schedule, calling it, quote, a short-term excursion. Earlier this evening, the president held his first official news conference since the war started. He defended the initial U.S. strikes on Iran, saying Tehran was trying to rebuild its nuclear program after American attacks destroyed several facilities last year.
Even after we obliterated their key nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, they never negotiated in good faith. They couldn't go back to where they were, the 3 sites that we obliterated, but they were starting work at another site that threatened our overseas bases and soon could have reached even our home.
The president says U.S. forces have struck more than 5,000 targets and warned Iran it will face stronger attacks if it tries to disrupt the oil supply. So the conflict in the Middle East has already effectively closed a major oil shipping route. Drone attacks on refineries and ships in the Strait of Hormuz are disrupting supply and driving up gas prices. In fact, the average cost of a gallon of gas in California is now over $5. Here in the Bay Area, it's even higher than that. In Marin, San Mateo, and San Francisco, the average gallon costs nearly $5.50. And Alameda and Santa Clara aren't too far behind. All right, this morning we stopped by a gas station in Walnut Creek where drivers say they're really feeling the pain at the pump.
We're all going to take a pretty big hit, and it's something that we have to be prepared for with our money-wise, and we're just annoyed with it.
We're not happy with the prices of gas going up in combination with all the increases across our economy with groceries and travel and going out to eat with your family. We just have to cut back further and further, and it seems it's cutting it to the bone.
So for all the latest updates on the war with Iran and its impact here in the Bay Area, just head to KPIX.com or download the free CBS News app. All right, still ahead here at 6, dozens escape a fire that ripped through a Monterey apartment building and injured several people.
You could feel the heat standing outside in the parking lot.
It is the race to get out in the middle of the night and what's next for the nearly 90 residents whose units were destroyed. And then treating text neck. How an East Bay chiropractor is trying to help patients having neck pain thanks to too much time on their phones.
Some children are starting to come down with pre-arthritis before they're 21, and that's never been heard of.
A huge fire ripped through a Monterey apartment complex early this morning, injuring 8 people. 2 were taken by helicopter to a burn center in critical condition. The fire broke out just before 4 a.m. at the Casanova Plaza Apartments, a senior public housing complex there. And at least 6 units were destroyed and nearly 90 people displaced. One resident told us she escaped the flames but doesn't know how badly her apartment was damaged or when she'll be able to return home.
The fire department came and were banging on our doors. It was get out and get out right now because it spread pretty fast and it was very, very hot and fierce. I have absolutely no idea where we're going to go or what's going to happen with us. I've never in my life been through anything like this.
Stephanie said she also helped an elderly neighbor escape the fire. She tells us the Red Cross is putting her up in a hotel room for the next week. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. With the AI arms race taking over Silicon Valley, San Jose State has some new resources to train workers to make the chips that power the technology. Congressman Sam Liccardo was on campus today to hand over a check for more than $1 million for the university's micro maker space that will go towards research, development, and innovation in the semiconductor and microelectronics industry, giving students hands-on experience and useful skills for engineering careers in Silicon Valley.
Students will work on systems that are more than 1,000 times smaller than the products we typically associate with maker culture. So students here will be learning not only how to make one device, but also how to develop incredibly robust, reliable, and scalable processes.
The lab will support education in a spectrum of disciplines within the engineering space like microelectronics, quantum technologies, AI, and robotics. We've all been around people who seem like they are buried in their phone screens, heads down, looking down. Maybe we're guilty of that ourselves right here. Turns out it's not just potentially rude, it could also lead to some lifelong health impacts. An East Bay chiropractor says he's been seeing more and more families dealing with what is known as text neck. That's a thing, especially in kids. Our Suji Nam takes us inside his practice for some tips on how to prevent and manage it.
Oh. It's the sound of relief at the Joint Chiropractic in San Leandro.
See right here, you feel that in there?
Relief from what Dr. Paul Dancy is referring to as text neck.
You would start to feel tightness in the cervical spine here. It's going to come down and it's just going to be tight pulling sensation.
Dr. Dancy has been a chiropractor for nearly 3 decades, and he's been seeing younger patients come in with neck problems from constantly looking down on their phones.
Children are now starting to come in with text neck. That's what we like to call it. And some children are starting to come down with pre-arthritis before they're 21. And that's never been heard of again. It's like an oxymoron.
He encourages parents to allow children to use their phones this way instead.
They would have to hold it up that way. Now there's no additional flexion of the neck.
And if you're not at a place where you can lie down and be on your phone,
not looking down, bring the phone all the way up while you're texting and do all the texting you need to do. How you feeling? Good. Okay.
Angel McTiller has been seeing Dr. Dancy for the past 7 years. She's been having neck pains.
Because it's like constant. Yeah, and so now I have relief.
Bianca Enix is an attorney and spends hours in front of a screen every day and is taking measures to help prevent worse symptoms.
Lift my computer up so that my screen is straight ahead instead of me looking down, which is great.
Come on, we're going to do 10 of those. Ready?
Dr. Dancy is passionate about his work.
Do good work in the community, serve the community, and that's what allowed me to be here for 27 years.
And he hopes to continue serving and educating families.
We almost got 180 degrees. That's pretty good.
For a healthier Bay Area.
iPad neck is a thing. CBS is looking at some serious workers' comp. Temperatures tomorrow are going to be just a little bit closer to normal for this time of year compared to what we had today. We're 5 to 10 degrees above average inland, but a huge warm-up is in store in the extended forecast. Got details coming up in First Alert Weather. Nice weather across the Bay Area today, and what's also nice is what's behind me. The sun is still up, and it's after 6:15 in the evening. Welcome back, daylight time. Another view of the almost sunset sky, not until 7:10 this evening, technically. From our Treasure Island camera shows some high clouds in the atmosphere overhead, but nothing that is going to do anything more than filter the sunshine. We're going to be fairly close to normal temperatures tomorrow, maybe a tiny bit closer to average, in fact, than we were today. And then a warm-up kicks in. Beginning on Wednesday, that'll carry us to the first half of the weekend. Genuine March heat wave is in store next week, beginning Sunday through at least the first half of next week, and there is absolutely zero rain in sight, which means there is zero to wash pollen out of the Bay Area's skies. And we're going to be seeing that pollen count hovering in either the medium high or the highest category for the next several days. Juniper, alder, and poplar as the top 3, but there's a lot of other stuff floating around as well. So just stock up on allergy medication. Seeing some haze on the horizon as we look out towards the Golden Gate from the Mark Hopkins Hotel, but no fog just yet. And the fog is going to be pretty sparse as we head through early tomorrow morning. We'll simulate that on Futurecast in just a moment. Temperatures right now anywhere from 58 downtown, so we do have the onshore influence, if not the full-fledged marine layer, with temperatures in the low 60s in Oakland and a mix of upper 60s and low 70s farther inland. Those numbers will drop down to the 40s tomorrow morning, and then we'll bounce back pretty quickly. Temperatures into the 60s and low 70s inland. An adoptable dog of the day from Roxy's Ranch Haven in Petaluma. This is Haley, who head tilt, pretty adorable, also seems to be saying, it's going to be how warm next week? And that is a valid question because temperatures are going to be running pretty close to record territory. Let's take a look at the temperature pattern for tomorrow. And again, closer to the coast, we are going to see a little bit of fog, but it's not going to slow down the warm up much at all. Oops, kind of repeated it there. Let's see if we can put some numbers on the map and talk about how warm it's going to be. Upper 60s to near 70 in the Santa Clara Valley. The marine influence keeping temperatures near 60 at the coast. That's the one place where you are going to be pretty close to normal highs. Upper 60s and low 70s inland in the East Bay, mid to upper 60s around the Bay, and a mix of upper 60s and low 70s for the North Bay, These numbers only about 3 to 5 degrees above normal, but they are above normal. The huge warm-up is in store for us beginning on Sunday. So we're going to be about 10 to 15 degrees above normal Wednesday through Saturday, and then beginning Sunday, we're going to be 20 to 25 degrees above average. And it's not just the Bay Area. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook, which starts on Sunday. And for the whole southwestern U.S., we're going to be looking at temperatures running way above normal. In fact, record-setting high temperatures likely for a prolonged period of time, and the 8 to 14 day outlook keeps it going as we head into the first days of spring. The spring equinox is a week from Friday, but we're going to finish winter technically way above normal. In fact, record-setting temperatures looking likely, and even beyond that, the heat is going to be sticking around likely for the next couple of weeks, and no rain in that forecast for the next couple of weeks either. So inland, we go from around 70 tomorrow, mix of upper 60s and low 70s, to a mix of 70s and 80s through the weekend, and then 80s everywhere, Sunday and Monday, and even for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week as well. Bayside temperatures are also going to be running way, way, way above normal, especially Sunday and Monday, when even Bayside temperatures are going to get past 80 degrees. And at the coast, well, maybe the warm-up isn't going to be quite as dramatic as other parts of the Bay Area. You're still going to be up into the mid to upper 70s by Sunday and Monday. Jules?
All right, Paul, thanks so much. When we come back, they are a celebrated part of California's Chicano culture. Now, lowriders are getting some special recognition from the U.S. Postal Service. The U.S. Postal Service is honoring a unique part of California culture. The Lowrider Forever stamps are coming this weekend. So USPS leaders say the stamps recognize the culture as an American art form, and organizers call the honor long overdue. If you want to get your hands on them this weekend, there is a community celebration planned Saturday at the Bayview Post Office in San Francisco. It will turn the block into a festival with classic lowriders, live music, food, and local vendors. Sounds fun. CBS Evening News is next. Local news always on our streaming service. I'll see you back here at 7 o'clock with more local news just for you. See you then.